Hi everyone and welcome to this video. This is the last part of Math 081, Chapter 3, Section 3. We're going to be working through some financial application problems involving simple interest. So the general formula for simple interest is I equals P times R times T. So before we get into this, we kind of need to define some vocabulary so that we really understand what we're doing here. So P stands for the principal, okay? This is the initial or starting amount that you either invest if you are trying to get more money, or it's the initial amount that you borrow if you are being lent money. So then we have, and also just so you understand, the principal is always going to be, this is going to be in dollars, in US dollars, in money, okay? So the interest is actually also a monetary amount, okay? So this is the amount that you earn in addition to, we'll say the principal, I guess. Okay, and that's, again, assuming that you're investing it, or if you are borrowing money, it's the amount of money that you pay in addition to the principal. Okay? So then we have the interest rate R. Okay? So the interest rate is going to be given to you as a percent. And this is just the rate at which the principal collects interest. Okay? And we are going to be dealing with simple interest in this section. And again, the formula for simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. Usually we just write it as I is equal to PRT, where the multiplication is implied. Okay. In real life, usually we end up using compound interest, and there is a more complicated formula for that. But the good news is, for us right now, we don't really care about compound interest. We're not going to worry about it. We are going to stick with simple interest. All right, so let's get started and do a few problems here. So again, this is a summary just from the textbook. So again, I is interest, P is principal, R is rate. One thing to note that R is going to be given in a percent form, and it has to be changed to a decimal. So that's one good thing to make a note of in your notes. And then the other thing is that the time has to be expressed in years. So for example, if there's a problem and it's being given to you, like let's say the time is given to you in months, like 36 months, you're going to have to convert that to years. So those are the two things to add to, or add to your notes, or to circle or highlight. Okay, so it says, what is the simple interest on a loan of $6,000 for 1 year if the interest rate is 8.25%? So if you've been watching these series of videos, you know that anytime you see the word what, you can write X. Anytime you see the word is, you can write equals. So what is the simple interest on a loan of $6,000? Okay, so $6,000 is what? $6,000 is your principal. Okay, so this is the principal P. Okay, can you find the time? The time is T, and so that's going to be equal to 1 year. Okay, and then our interest rate R is 8.25%, And remember, we have to convert that to a decimal. So we're going to write it like that. Okay? So what I usually do in these problems is I usually write the equation first. I'll write I is equal to Prt. And then I usually write over here somewhere those 4 variables. So again, I is the what. We don't know what the interest is. What is the simple interest on a loan of $6,000 for 1 year at a rate of 0.0825? So let's go back and finish filling this out. 6,000 times 1 times 0.0825. Right, and we can fill it out down here too. Again, the principal is 6,000. The interest rate is 0.0825. The time is 1 year. So this is a job for our calculator. If you want, you can take a minute, pause the video if you need to, and type that into your calculator. And you will find out that your simple interest is $495. All right, let's do another example. So this one says, if Barry borrows $2,000 for 3 years at 13% annual simple interest, how much interest will he pay? Okay, so again, every time I do these problems, I always write I, P, R, T, okay? And then I try to go through and pick out those values. Also, on a test, you will not be given this equation, I equals P, R, T, so you're going to need to know that. So if you want to, as you get more comfortable with these problems, you can start pausing the video, working through them on your own, and then unpausing the video and making sure that you're correct. So our principal is the amount that was borrowed initially. So in this case, it's $2,000. Our time is 3 years, and our rate, can't really see it very well here, is 13%. So again, we write that as 0.13. Okay, and we're trying to find the interest, which means that's our unknown quantity. So the principal is 2,000, the rate is 0.13, the time is 3. Okay, and we just have to type that into a calculator. And doing that, we get that our interest is $780. All right, let's do maybe one more example. This says, what is the interest gained on a $1,500 investment at 8% annual interest for 9 months? Okay, so again, I always go through and identify I, P, R, and T. And I always go ahead and write down my equation because I know I'm going to need it. Okay, so again, if you're comfortable doing so, pause the video, see if you can identify these variables, and then unpause it, see if you were right. Okay, so $1,500 is our principal. Our interest rate is 0.08. Okay, and most people would be tempted to write what for time? Most people are tempted to write 9. But the problem with this is that it's 9 months. And we need to not have months, we have to have years. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work here to convert 9 months to years. So if you recall from a previous part of this section, we can use our unit conversion. So we want 9 months, and we want it to become a certain number of years. And remember over here, we make sure that the units are the same on the top and the bottom. So most people know that there are 12 months in 1 year. And so then we can cross multiply and solve. So we have 9 times 1 is equal to 12x. You divide by 12, and you find out that x is 0.75 or 3/4 of a year. Okay, so watch that. If your time is given to you in any kind of units they're not years, you have to change that. So t is going to be 0.75. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill this out. So we have 1,500, and our rate is 0.08, and our time, again, is not 9, because that would be 9 years. our time is 0.75. It's 3/4 of a year. So then we can just go ahead and plug that into a calculator. And when we do that, we find out that the simple interest is $90. Okay.